So much of the new technology in our cars is meant to keep us safe, but sometimes they're the very tools that put us at risk. One domestic violence survivor says her connected car drove her into more danger, and she told Boston 25 News' Samantha Manning about how it allowed her abuser to trace her in real time.
Christine Dowdle says she knew it was time to leave her husband in 2022 after a violent fight.
Thinking, God, what am I going to do if I stay here? This is not going to end well.
Deputies in Louisiana investigated the domestic violence incident. They reported seeing multiple areas of discoloration on her arms and face. Christine got a temporary order of protection and left the abusive marriage behind. But even after getting away, Christine says she would get text messages from her estranged husband, then a DEA agent, taunting her with clues that he knew exactly where she was and sometimes who she was with.
I kept wondering, how in the world does he know where I'm at?
She soon noticed this strange message pop up in her car. It turned out to be a location tracker similar to GPS. Her estranged husband was using her Mercedes-Benz to trace her.
It's just a horrible feeling knowing somebody knows your every move.
A judge granted her exclusive use of the car during divorce proceedings. Christine and a detective who worked her case tell me they called Mercedes repeatedly to try to get her ex removed from the car's connected system. But because he was the legally registered owner, they say multiple requests to Mercedes went nowhere.
They said that he had to be the one to disconnect it and that sort of thing. And I said, well, that's going to be kind of tough.
A spokesperson for Mercedes told us in a statement, quote, "This is a rather unfortunate case in which the system was used beyond its intended purpose. We worked with our provider partner, Verizon, who reportedly terminated the account." Christine tells me Mercedes never told her anything about that and says to the best of her knowledge, the account was never terminated. The company wouldn't give further details because of policies to protect customer information. Last year, the FCC made a rule allowing domestic violence survivors to separate a phone line from an account shared with an abuser. The agency is now taking a closer look at the law to see if it can create a similar rule for connected cars. It's now gathering input from the public and from car makers. The connected vehicle industry says car manufacturers are also taking their own steps to better protect customers.
There are a number of automakers and tech companies that are partnering with domestic violence advocacy groups and human trafficking groups to understand what their survivors or victims' needs are.
I spoke with Scott McCormick, president and CEO of the Connected Vehicle Trade Association.
What options can that survivor have, or do they not have an option to turn that mechanism off on the car if they're not the registered owner?
Fortunately, you can go to a third-party service center or garage and they'll do it.
That's what Christine ended up doing. She says she paid an independent mechanic $400 to disable the remote tracking system. Domestic violence survivor advocates argue it shouldn't be that difficult or expensive for people to get the help they need. They're calling on manufacturers and the federal government to create more clear pathways for protection. For Christine, the imminent danger in her life is now gone. Her estranged husband died by suicide last year. But she worries for others who may unknowingly be traced while behind the wheel.
It's just something that sticks with you. And I've been trying to do what I can, by talking about it.
In Washington, Samantha Manning for your local station, Boston 25 News.